Hey there, fellow sports gamblers. It's Steel Picks for you with the 5 best NBA playoff prize picks and underdog free picks for today, May 19th. Before we get into today's picks, let's see what happened to us yesterday. And for those of you fellow sports gamblers who didn't see what happened, it was an incredible double overtime game, which tends to skew the betting philosophy and betting results as a result. But here's what happened to us. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 2 first quarter points to go under the 9.5 first quarter points we said he'd go under. Victor Wembanyama had 14 first half points to go over the 12.5 first points we said he'd go over. Now, that didn't really have any impact with regards to the double overtime extra minutes, but as we get a little bit further along into the picks, you'll see how things kind of transpired. Julian Champagne was 4 for 12 from the three-point line to go over the 1.5 three-pointers we said he'd go over. Then double overtime really hurt us. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was 7 for 23 from the field to go over the 21.5 field goal attempts we said he'd go under. And somehow, not quite sure how this happened, Stephon Castle in 49 minutes was 5 for 14 to go under the 5.5 field goals made we said he'd go over. 3 out of 5 is not terrible, and the circumstances of this game were quite unpredictable, but let's see if we can't put together an immaculate ticket for today, given the weird set of circumstances that happened to us yesterday. First up, we're going to go back to the well, fellow sports gamblers, and we're going to go with Jared Allen, under 5 defensive rebounds. Why did we say this? Because he's only done this one time in the entire playoffs. Game 3 against Toronto, he exploded for 11 defensive rebounds and has not had 5 in any game since then, including the 7 games against the Detroit Pistons. Obviously, all opponents are not the same, and there's probably going to be a little bit more of an opportunity given the fact that Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns and Anunoby are not quite the same front line as some of the teams that he's played recently, most notably Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart for the Detroit Pistons. But still and yet, he has failed to do this in only one of his playoff games so far this postseason. With regards to minutes, you see that Jared Allen has been playing diminishing minutes as of late. His last 3 games against Detroit, 36 to 30 to 24. Not quite sure what this new series holds for him. But as you can see, although regular season stats are not that big of a deal, with regards to the playoffs, New York Knicks, pretty good with regards to defensive rebounds allowed, number 6 in the league when it comes to that. So Jared Allen, under 5 defensive rebounds. As you can see, Prizepicks flexes as well as they have him at the -119. Next up, from that same game, Mikal Bridges, under 0.5 assists. In the playoffs, Mikal Bridges has not thrown a first quarter assist one time. Captain Obvious, maybe a little bit. But if he's never done it, what reason do we think that he would do it in this game in the Eastern Conference Finals against a pretty good backcourt with James Harden and Donovan Mitchell? Not quite sure what he's going to be able to do with regards to that. As far as minutes played, a little bit of a spike in Game 3 of the Philadelphia series where he played all 12 minutes on the court, on the floor, but not that many minutes. And when he's in there, not being very generous with the basketball. Let's not overthink this. Mikal Bridges under 0.5 assists against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Next up, we have Sam Merrill, under 1.5 rebounds. Why do we say this, fellow sports gamblers? He's only done this one time in the playoffs. And in addition, there have been 4 games where he has had no assists and 4 other runs where he only had 1 assist. Rebounds. To say that he's going to have 2 of those, not really feeling it. And in addition, the shooting guards with Josh Hart and others, I think are going to be very physical with regards to him, keeping him off of the blocks, keeping him off of the glass. I do not see Sam Merrill getting 1.5 rebounds in this game. What kind of minutes has he been playing in the playoffs? A little bit of an extended period in Game 7, where he played 25 and a half almost. Games 5 and 6, about 21 and 20. So not a whole lot of minutes. Don't think that he's going to be crashing the board in some major way. Again, this ticket is going to be all about the others, as Shaq likes to call them, the ones that contribute, but maybe will not contribute to the level that they're used to, or certainly that the prognosticators think that he will. And as you can see, Novig likes this as well, as they have him at -110. Again, that rebounds loud. The Knicks during the regular season were number 3 in the league. Sam Merrill is not going to be that big of a contributing factor, I don't feel, in Game 1 in Madison Square Garden. So definitely think that he's going to go under the 1.5 rebounds. And as a friendly reminder, when you sign up with BETR using my promo code WINCASH, you'll receive 2 anytime tokens worth up to $100 each. And when you sign up with Novig using my STEELEWINS promo code and spend $5, you'll get a $50 bonus to have an opportunity to make future prize bets and make a little bit of extra cash. Good luck, everyone. Next up, we have Karl Anthony Towns under 8.5 defensive rebounds. Why do we say this? Karl Anthony Towns has only gone over 8.5 defensive rebounds in 2 games in the playoffs. That was against the Atlanta Hawks in Game 3 and Game 5. And with regards to Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, much more formidable, allow far less rebound opportunities. And plus, Karl Anthony Towns, his game is primarily predicated on trying to drag the big man out to the 3-point line where he's most effective. I think that he will continue to do so, and in doing so, will not have a lot of rebounding opportunities. As you can see, the low point of the playoffs was Game 4 against the Philadelphia 76ers, where we only had 2 minutes. He's going to get his minutes, and let's not kid ourselves, although a 20-minute game against Philadelphia, somewhat of an outlier because they were up by 30 points, or won the game by 30 points, and were up by a tremendous amount of points for most of the game. So can't really necessarily rely on those stats to tell the entire story, but just not feeling Karl Anthony Towns crashing the boards in a heavy major way. And certainly Evan Mobley and Jared Allen will have a lot to say about that. So I certainly think that Karl Anthony Towns under 8.5 rebounds is quite doable. As you can see, Prizepicks likes it as well, as they have him at the -119. And last but not least for the others, we have Mitchell Robinson under 7.5 rebounds. Why do we say this, fellow sports gamblers? Because he's only gone over 7.5 rebounds 1 time in the playoffs, and that was against Atlanta in Game 4. That was a long, long time ago. As you can see, with regards to what he was able to do against Philadelphia, actually, he only played in 3 of the 4 games. The most he ever got was 6 rebounds. We have 7.5, certainly a good margin. And again, that front line that I keep speaking of so highly with regards to Evan Mobley and Jared Allen should probably keep him off of the glass a little bit. In addition, trying to guard those 2 is probably going to get him in a little bit of foul trouble, something that he didn't really see a whole lot against the Philadelphia 76ers, as Joel Embiid was certainly trying to drag him out to the 3-point range. And Andre Drummond, just not much of an offensive factor. Mitchell Robinson had a pretty good go of it against him. And with regards to minutes, we can see that he's going to play a fair amount, a good share, 15 minutes a game. But as you can see, in Game 4 against the Philadelphia 76ers, he only had 16.5, high water mark being 18.5. Looks like that was Game 3 against the Sixers. So certainly not looking for him to be that big of a contributing factor with regards to fouls. In Game 1 against Philadelphia, had a little bit of foul trouble. Games 3 and 4, not so much. But certainly he will have his hands full with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, trying to keep them off the block and trying to keep them at a scoring range. As you can see, Novig likes this as well, as they have him at the -116. So to recap, we have Jared Allen under 5 defensive rebounds, Mikal Bridges under half a first quarter assist, Sam Merrill under 1.5 rebounds, Karl Anthony Towns under 8.5 defensive rebounds, and Mitchell Robinson under 7.5 total rebounds. And in addition, my 3-leg parlay is Mitchell Robinson under 7.5 rebounds, Karl Anthony Towns under 8.5 defensive rebounds, and Sam Merrill under 1.5 rebounds. That's my 5 picks for today. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the Steel Picks for You channel. And good luck, everyone.